Hi there, my name is Kay Moon and I'm a twin flame channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the full moon in Virgo taking place on March 7th, 2023 at 7:40 a.m. If you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States, please check a time zone converter for your local time. This will be the lunar update, kind of additional piece just for the Divine Counterpart Collective. If you happen to identify in that energy, but if you don't, then you can always watch the general, the Lightworker energy update, which will provide far more illumination about this energy. A couple of quick announcements. The calendar for March readings is definitely open. If you would like to have a look at your year ahead or the way to work with the energy that I'm about to lay out, then you can book with me over at kmoonastro.com. Link is below this video to do so. I do have time in the next couple of weeks as of the moment of posting this. But as many of you know, my calendar does tend to fill up pretty fast. I have been providing first look at the end of the Lightworker Energy Update, which is the video that is published at the exact moment this one comes out as well. First look is your opportunity to see what comes next in 2 weeks' time at the next lunation and understand how the energy progresses from here to there. I'm very excited about the next new moon. It'll be a new moon in Aries, and I believe it comes with an eclipse. So definitely have a listen for that in the Lightworker Energy Update. And because we're moving into a very different kind of season, many of you may have felt it, that there's some kind of shift in the air. Vibrationally, it feels different. 2023 has a level of potency and charge that we haven't seen in a long time. And it can have you feel either anxious or motivated or like kind of pushed or charged up. There's a reason for that. And I cover all of that in the Lightworker Energy Update. So I encourage you to have a listen. But because the energy of that is with us for the entirety of 2023, I have provided in that update some resources to help you move into leveraging your divine creatorship at the tail end of that lunar update. And before first look, somebody I'm sure will have time stamped it below the video. So if you're interested in resources to help you understand, okay, where is my power to create in my connection? What is my opportunity here to step into creatorship, to author a new story in my connection? Have a look at those resources that I have provided for you. Many of them are indeed relationship focused, but not all. They're about really getting into your creatorship in a holistic 360-degree way, from health to money to family to work, and inclusive of relationships. So if that's something that really speaks to you, it's certainly stamped heavily in the energy of 2023. Please have a look at those resources. There will be other people who have linked resources in the comment section below that video. As you know, I really think of myself as a bit of like a registrar's office, a place where you can come and understand what classes are available for you to take, where the growth and the learning is. I'm more of a divine traffic director. I can see what's going on and what your options are, but the places to do the work, I will point you to those locations when I know them. So super exciting. Now, this lunar update, this full moon, has some really significant implications for our internal masculine energy, as does the next new moon on March 21st. As in both of them, Aries energy is riding at a high. Now, Aries energy, even though this is the full moon in Virgo, planetary placements, majority of them are hanging out here in the sign of Aries, and Aries is the first masculine sign of the zodiac. As such, when we have full moon in Aries or new moon in Aries, I tend to dub it the divine masculine's new moon or full moon as the first new or full moon. The full new or full moon that's in the first sign of the zodiac. In Taurus, we have the first feminine sign of the zodiac. And so we have energy that I call the divine feminine's new moon when it's a new moon in Taurus, divine feminine's full moon when it's a full moon in Taurus. This energy at this moment in time is so deeply focused on our masculine energy. Next full moon as well, Aries is just so highlighted as we kick off 2023. So I'm going to really speak to this, but my encouragement as you listen is to separate in your consciousness the construct of divine masculine from a person and start to work with it as an energy, a vibration, a frequency that lives inside of you. Because as long as you have identified the energy with a person and not inside of you, you're harvesting this energy in separation. To say that someone else is a divine masculine and you are a divine feminine, or that you are one or the other, that one or the otherness is a construct of duality, and it's also a construct of separation consciousness. And while it can serve us to understand the uniqueness of these energies, when we locate and identify them pertaining to a singular person, we separate in our consciousness that person from the wholeness that they are, which includes both masculine and feminine. We stop seeing the truth of who they are because we're only seeing one, not the other. And then we do the same to ourselves. And that's the opposite of being a creator incarnate, because in the creator's energy, there are both. And as you are a creator incarnate, you too have both. So my invitation, and you're listening now and always as you listen, is to really own and understand that you are neither one nor the other. And so too is the person you may see as your divine counterpart, neither one nor the other. So I'm going to speak in this energy about masculine energy. But as you're listening, I want you to identify, I encourage you to identify where in you this energy is mirrored back to you. Okay. So we've got this full moon. Let's just come out here. Let me do that. Okay. Here's our full moon at 16 degrees Virgo. Virgo is our sign of discernment and decision making. And we've got the sun opposited in Pisces here. And for many reasons, I'm just going to kind of do a drive-by on these because I explained them in depth in the Lightworker Energy Update. If you really want to understand how this all works, head over there. But, the kind of Cliff Notes version is that at this lunation, we have the opportunity to really see deeply into the spiritual realms or the unseen realms, and we're offered a choice. We can either manifest the energy of this full moon in fear or in faith. And we have Neptune, Nessus, Sun, and Neptune here. Our Mercury, Nessus, Sun, and Neptune together, this combination deals with the unseen world. It deals with visions that we can't see with our eyes, sounds we can't hear with our ears. It deals with things we can't touch with our hands, and that could either be past or future. It could be fear or it could be faith. It can be art and creativity as much as it could be the manifestation of our worst nightmares. The energy is neutral. The opportunity is in the choice. Choice is given to us through the energy here of Mars at the fulcrum point in a T-square. Mars is about choice and action. Now, here we have this moon in Virgo. Virgo is all about our habits, our day-to-day life, our health and well-being. And when you have a lot of energy manifesting in the unseen world as neutral, but certainly has a charge to it, depending upon what we bring to it, we can bring to the best way I can describe it is this energy is a bit like a megaphone or a microphone, if you will. The microphone itself is not bad, nor is it good. But you can yell into that microphone really beautiful, uplifting, powerful things, and they are amplified in a stadium. Or you can yell into that microphone hateful, separative, diminishing things, and they're amplified in that stadium. Okay. The power to choose is here. Virgo and Gemini are both about decisions and choice. And what we've got going on is an opportunity to leverage this into making healthier choices and healthier habits when it comes to where we're triggered. Now, the triggering is over here with all of this energy in Aries, which is where our divine masculine energy sits. Our divine masculine energy is about our capacity to facilitate and create in the third dimension, to go out and get, protect, and provide, to really go like fertilize things so that they can abundantly begin to render themselves to become fruitful, right? And so here's our divine masculine energy sitting in the sign of I am, that's Aries, sitting next to Chiron. In our I amness, our action orientedness, because Aries is about action, right next to it, we have the planet that is all about wounds from the past. So as you're encountering new creation in the world of relationship and partnership, in your divine connection, whether you and your person are creating something together because you're manifesting in union energies, you're both outwardly facing the world, the two of you co-creating something new together or something new individually, or whether or not you and your counterpart are rendering in some level of separation type of energy, right? No contact, no communication or back and forth, but somewhere in the realm of situationship or just friendship, right? What's happening is just as we are in the realm of creating a new chapter to our stories in the world of divine counterpartship, here goes Chiron, triggering the part of us that says, I am abundant, I am fruitful, I can create, I am powerful, I am action oriented, I am love, I am compassionate, I can do this. Just as that part of us wants to step into the new here in this new season, Aries is the first, starts a new cycle. Just as that's going on, our divine counterpart energy inside of us that renders us masculine energy is getting a Chiron hit. And in the shadow, Chiron talks about our woundedness. And in Aries, it talks about our I am wounds. And so, where we have lingering past tense storylines around not enoughness, because Chiron in Aries, the woundedness is I am not enough. Where we've got that going on, we're going to see those things really pop up and get into our face. And so things that might show up as you're authoring new story in the world of love and connection in your divine masculine energy, you may have triggers show up that sound like, yeah, well, I'm the kind of person who's always been cheated on. I'm the kind of person who can never sit still, can never stay put. I'm the kind of person who always gets abandoned or left, or I'm the kind of person who, whatever fill in the blank your story is, I've always been abused, or I've always had to pay for everything. I don't know what your story is around love and relationship that has you anchored in a not enoughness identity, because Aries is about identity. But these things are coming up in this choice point energy right as you're in the new. The old stories are arising to help you get control over your masculine energy internally so that you can direct it intentionally, so that you can be more powerful in working with what stories you're telling yourself in love and relationships, so that you can move from an old story to a new story by really understanding precisely what the old story is. This is only fully amplified in our internal feminine energy at this point in time because we've got Juno sitting with Eris. This is a conversation about feminine disenfranchisement, feeling like you don't have a seat at the table, feeling like you're second choice, second best, feeling resentful because of these things and wanting to just throw bombs and walk away, blow stuff up, sabotage things because you will not be ignored. Eris really acts like that in a lot of ways. And when she's interacting with the divine feminine energy there, that's Juno, there's a real kind of reckoning that we're being invited to face when it comes to our partnerships about ways we've allowed ourselves to live less than stories, right? This is only amplified by Pluto here speaking to Juno in the squaring formation, the 90-degree angle. Pluto is about power, bringing an aspect of tension, that 90-degree angle, to Juno. That power energy is giving Juno, our internal divine feminine energy, sitting there in Aries, the opportunity to render herself a new story, to write herself into a new reality. Okay. It's really exciting. But what has to happen in order for all of this to unfold is a recognition that whatever the story has been for you in love and divine counterpartship up until this point, whatever piece of your relationship story that has been disempowering to you up until now, what you're going to have to do is unwrite it, erase it, delete it, cancel it, and then claim a new story. Write anew, claim anew, tell a new story anew so that you can have different results. The reason story is so important here is because we've got this energy of Mars here, our human masculine energy, and we all have that too. Here inside of Gemini, Gemini is the sign of the storyteller. And we've got this T-square at this lunation between the moon and the sun. And then here is Mars. T-squares bring tension. And the only way to relieve that tension is to get up here in Sagittarius, the sign, the mutable sign that's not mentioned, but because there's no planet occupying Sagittarius, the only way to get out of the tension is for us as our human creator incarnate to occupy Sagittarian energy. Sagittarian energy is about truth, and to get into the truth of your power, to understand the power of faith and beliefs to create and author a new reality. Okay, otherwise we can kind of get caught in looping. Here's Nessus speaking with Mercury. The mind can really take this energy that we've got with all these triggers in Aries, right? As we're taking action on our new old triggers come up, this Nessus Mercury combo can have us loop. Oh my God, what if the same thing happens again? What if they do that thing again? What if I do that thing again? What if things repeat, right? We can find ourselves going in that past story, those past wounds, those past triggers, dredging them up because they're not here in the third dimension. Remember, all of this Pisces energy is stuff that's not present in the 3D. It's either in the past, something that's already happened and done, or in the future, something we're worried about that's just projecting the past onto the future. Not living in true reality, which is right here, right now, the choice moment where if you make a different choice, you can get a different story. Okay. So there's lots of opportunities in this to author a new path forward in love. And I really, really like to see this. I find it's extraordinarily empowering, especially because we have all the planets that really talk about love and relationship, speaking to one another. We've got Jupiter, we've got Venus, we've got Juno, we've got Mars. Mars is speaking to these guys over here, really bringing in a heightened sense of possibility if we would just let go of the pain, that's Chiron and Eris, if we would just transmute and let go of the pain of the past. Now, for some of you, letting go of the pain of the past, for some of us, it's really about fostering healing. And part of why we cannot let some of the things go is because they haven't been properly acknowledged. We haven't properly attended to our own wounds and validated them. And for others of us, we validated them well, but we haven't yet stepped into creatorship to author a new story, to author a new outcome, to author a new destiny for ourselves. And one of the challenges I personally have really found in the entire conversation around divine counterpartship and twin flame stuff, as I've encountered content in this space on and off YouTube, is how much victimhood is in the story, how much disempowerment is in the authorship, how much outer dictation, meaning you don't get to choose. All this stuff is out of your hands and it's happening to you. How much of that is in the general narrative around this stuff? And I'm really challenged by that, because it is as much as it is a story about divine love incarnate, the challenge that I have frequently seen is that we take that piece of it and then completely separate ourselves from our divine nature. Somebody else outside of me, you tell me if I'm a twin flame. I don't want to own my divine knowing about this. I want somebody else to use their authority to tell me. Somebody else, look at a chart, look at my palm, look at the destinies, look at our numerology. You tell me if we're destined to be together. I can't own, because of either the way it's been or the way wounding has gotten in the way, I can't own my capacity to direct this narrative. It's a little bit, how do I put it? The word I'm looking for is, come to me. What is the word? There's a schism. And it's not just a schism, but it's like we step into, like, the minute we step into the story of divine love, as much as that empowers us, it amplifies our creatorship abilities. We also then step out of our creatorship abilities in the collective narrative around this stuff. And it's disheartening to see that. And it's encouraging to be in a year like 2023, which really pushes us into that divine creatorship. It pushes us into our capacity to really bend the third dimension into, to press upon it, our own will, our own authority, the truth we know in our own hearts, right? And so, my encouragement, if you're new to my channel, please, 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 please always listen to the Lightworker Energy Update, because inside of that video that's published along this one, I lay out the way to use the energy as a divine creator incarnate. I lay out what your choices are. I lay out the opportunity for evolution, expansion, and growth and power are there. In this video, I just give you here's a snapshot of what's happening, but the opportunity of 2023, which I think is like a 7-year, 7 is the number of the divine. The opportunity of 2023 is to move from perceiving reality into creating reality. And I've had many a person, get frustrated with me because I won't tell them if they're twin flames. I won't look at their chart and dictate and override their divine knowing with my authority with astrology. I've even had people leave my sessions, and this is rare because I do my best to explain it well, but I've had people leave my session in tears because they're so separated from their own inner authority, their own divine creatorship incarnate. And I have to tell them which is what the truth is, which is whether you and this person come together or not is 100% in your hands, not in the stars. The stars have already done their part. They've introduced the two of you. What you two do with it, that's on y'all. You're going to do some work. You're going to evolve. You're going to tell yourself a different story. You're going to educate yourself, learn some new ways of loving, learn some actionable ways of communicating in love. You're going to release some stuff from your past. You're going to go to therapy. You're going to get that coach. I don't know, but I do know that operationalizing this love does require a bit of work. And that work is whether you, no one's going to force it on you. You have supreme opportunity to do that or not as you see fit. But if you're hoping that somebody can kind of magically heal the relationship from outside of you, go in with their magic, their woo woo, their healing, and you won't have to do anything but cry and pay that person, and then your relationship is just going to get fixed. Ooh. We have a ways to go in our evolution as divine creator beings incarnate, if that's the path that we've been on. And that's a place in the journey. I think everyone at some point may have been there, where it's like, I just need a mechanic to fix my connection. When in reality, what 2023 is showing us is we are the mechanic. We are the ones who can actually operationalize this love and make it a reality in the third dimension that's reflective of our divinity incarnate. And so this choice point of the year, and I speak a little bit more to this in the Lightworker energy update, we've got Pluto, which is all about power, squaring the nodal axis all year long. We've got the sign, North Node in the sign of the divine feminine, bringing power to her. We've got the South Node in the sign of Scorpio, which is ruled by the human masculine. We've got Pluto squaring the two. Pluto, where Pluto goes, power flows and follows. And what this is all about here is your capacity. You're right here at the fulcrum point. There's power here. What do you choose? Do you choose to step into greater life, to the power that you've been given, or do you choose to let the past, that's a lot of the South Node, especially in Scorpio, and the pain of the past, dictate your pathway here in your connection? So the opportunity for choice is upon us all, and it's in particular upon us in different ways. And our feminine energy, as the divine feminine, speaks to the North Node at this time. She's bringing an energy of choosing life and life force and fertility and abundance as she steps into Taurus towards April and speaks to the North Node. It's about choosing life and life-giving behaviors and practices. And the Jupiterian energy here in Chiron, this is about moving from wounded to wisdom, understanding that the painful things that have happened to us had purpose. We don't have to live in the pain. We can look at the purpose of the pain and step into leadership. Okay. So, but whether or not it manifests as woundedness or wisdom, whether it manifests as, feeling like, victimized by this love or empowered by it, these are choices we have to make in thought, in words, and in our actions, especially our actions with both divine counterparts manifesting here in the sign of Aries. Aries is all about action. And the ruler here of Aries being Mars, I've been talking about this through the entirety of the Mars retrograde. That season comes to completion this March. Mars in Gemini is about choice. Mars is the ruler of this Aries is really telling us, I don't really care what happened to you. I don't care what they did. I don't care what they didn't do. What I care about is that you make the choice to stand in love anyway. You are that powerful. You are that creator. You have that ability to write a new story. You have that capacity to transmute energy. You have that ability to say, even in the face of tremendous pain, hurt, suffering, or sorrow, I stand in light. I stand in love. I stand in creatorship and divine creatorship incarnate. I infuse the connection with capacity to create and greater love. Okay. So choices all around. And the biggest one is, will you step into your divine creatorship, or will you continue to feel victimized by the kind of collective consciousness around the connection? So hopefully, as you've been listening to me, for those of you who have been with me for an extended period of time, you've heard me stress this message around, here's the energy. It's neither good nor bad. You get choice. Here's how you can use it. I've been working hard to really communicate that to you. Hopefully that's something that you are, soaking in and recognizing, oh yeah, okay, I get it. I am a divine creator incarnate. And what happens in this connection is up to me. How it goes from here is based on choices that I make. It's based on the kind of person I choose to show up to be. And some of that isn't just in energies, some of it is in action, like I said. At a baseline where this energy is at in terms of, kind of peoples in the connection, I'm definitely seeing, triggering for both counterparts in relationship to the connection. I'm also seeing, because both of the energies that I identify as soulmate energies, Mars and Venus, are all up in the connection, talking to both people. For those of you who have unconsciously allowed your connection to render in love triangles, I'm certainly seeing a lot of love triangle energy manifest here. And some of this, where that's a storyline that you're learning how to transmute in this lifetime, either because it's past life legacy or present family legacy, or, choice and habit. The minute, things get kind of heated, you like allow the back door to be open to an ex or somebody new. Your instinct is to triangulate, to not have to face. That energy is also going to be up at this time. It's certainly here, but it's here in this way that is very much, no matter where you turn or whom you turn to, the energy of divine love is always going to point you right back to this connection. And for those of you who need to hear that, because it is what you do, you triangulate, know that whatever you're witnessing or whatever's seeming more juicy or more interesting outside of the connection, it's because it's mirroring back something that already exists in the connection. And for those of you whose habit, and again, this full moon in Virgo deals with habits. Flip side of that over here is like, what's our habit in the face of the unknown? The unknown that I'm speaking to in this moment is like, I don't know where the future is going to go. I don't know how to close up things from the past, right? There's fear here. There's anxiety here. And in some of your cases, I see there's third parties here, like love triangles, like I said. For those of you who, in the face of that, tend to shut down, close up, or you really start to externalize your authority and power, and you take it to readers like, is this person cheating on me? Is this person doing other things? What's going on over there? What are they doing? It's a place in the journey. People have certainly been there. what I want to say to you is that this is your opportunity to step into turning away from fear and turning toward your faith. This is this energy over here calling the circumstance what you want to see instead of projecting what you think you're seeing on it, especially if you're in the dark, and reclaiming the power and authority that Aries energy gives you to act from love instead of acting from fear. Again, Aries is about action. Okay. So for those of you who tend to always be like on the side of the love triangle where it's like you're the one who gets cheated on, have some faith. This is a test. For those of you who are on the side of the love triangle where you're the one who constantly keeps back doors open, again, same message for you. Have some faith. Have some authorship and some ownership. This is a test, right? You can have the love you want. There's a need and to be vulnerable with the places that have scared you and hurt you before, and to act in faith, knowing that in your divine creatorship, if you choose to allow love to unfold in a focused way, you will in fact find that what you want is 100% in the world of what you can have. It's just a matter of being willing to own it and really deal with what's on the other side of leaving doors open. Okay, back doors open. There's also, with some of this, a little bit of addiction energy. Anytime we see Neptune, Mercury, and the sun, and Nessus together with the moon, it's kind of like table stakes for addiction. What addiction really is like it's in many cases, some of it's trauma, coping mechanism for trauma. For some, it's a coping mechanism for dealing with the unknown, not knowing how to heal the trauma, not knowing what will happen next, being uncomfortable with uncertainty. And still for other people, addiction energy can really be a self-soothing mechanism for some imbalanced neurochemistry. And all of this energy that we're seeing right now is an opportunity to lean heavily into making some new, healthier new moon in Virgo. Virgo is about health, healthier choices for ourselves. Option and opportunity for choice is certainly there. What we do with that is ultimately up to us as divine creator beings incarnate. As I mentioned, I left a significant amount of resources in a section at the end of the Lightworker Energy Update before I went into first look around how to leverage your divine creatorship. Lots of people who are here on YouTube who really specialize in this, whose content I have been leveraging to help me step into that. You've got some of my absolute favorites there if this is something you're struggling with. And of course, if you'd like the opportunity to look at where your options are in creatorship and connection this year, you can always book a reading with me over at K Moon Astro, and we can have a look at here's how the astrology breaks down in terms of your choices this year. Here's what you're being encouraged to do, what you're encouraged to let go of. Here are the opportunities for growth. Here's where the planets are saying your focal points can be to open doors in connection. We can have a look at all of that to really get you back into empowerment with your choices. And that's really going to be helpful, especially if you're manifesting a lot of shadow energy. You're feeling a lot of fear or uncertainty and feeling very victimized by the connection. Us sitting down together can get you reconnected to your authority and power in it. Okay. I love you guys. I thank you so much for all of the ways you've supported my work and my channel with every subscribe and like. The last thing that I'll say that I completely forgot to announce at the beginning of the video is that we're heading into the season where I normally do my spring workshop. I have taught divine mirrors content. I have taught timing of union. I have taught shadow work or Chiron course. Normally the spring workshop or late winter workshop it's one day, it's about 3 to 4 hours, and it's astrologically based. One of the things I was thinking about teaching this year was all about how to know your own internal divine masculine and divine feminine energy, how to identify it so that you can step out of this, I have these body parts, so therefore I'm a feminine, and they have those body parts, therefore they're a masculine. Really understanding and owning, where your Jupiter, where your Juno sits in your own chart. We can do that. The other workshop I was thinking about teaching was all about creatorship and how to work with your divine creatorship incarnate. What does your chart say about the way you are meant to create and manifest things? Because it's different for everyone. There's something unique about your particular path to creatorship. So we could do a workshop on that as well. But I'm curious about what you would choose. And if there's something else you want to see, put it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much. Take great care. I love you. Bye for now.